I'm good. We're going and we're live.
All right, what's up, everyone? Coming at you right after the 23.1 announcement here, and this is one that we've done before if you've been in the sport for a while. For some of us, it may be brand new, but it's one that we really want to think about a few big things on pace and efficiency of movement if we want to last for those last sets on the muscle ups or even some attempts on the rings. I want to start off talking through the row a little bit. You can't really win this workout on the row, but you could certainly kind of put yourself in a negative spot moving through the rest of the movements on the row. So take this pace basically as fast as you can, as long as you can immediately transition to the toes to bar. So we don't want to row so fast that we need a 30-second break in between. We don't need to be in the chalk bucket for long, nothing like that. We want to get right out of the rower and move straight to the toes to bar. So that's one big thing. Another thing I like to think about with this is, like, in my mind, I'm probably going to be doing singles on the 135 power cleans, and I almost try to move on the rower at a similar pace to what I think I'm going to move at on the power cleans. That way my cardiovascular system's nice and prepared to sort of keep me in rhythm on both of those movements, and they're nice and complementary of one another. Last big thing is, for a lot of us on the rower, we'll bend our arms before our hips extend. And that's going to be problematic because you'll tax your elbows a ton before you ever get to the movements where you really need them, like toes to bar, power cleans, and ring muscle ups. So you're going to need those things a ton. So on the row, you really want to think about opening your hips fully. I'll do that a couple of times prior to your elbows pulling. So it should look like this. What happens a lot of times is we bend early and then finish with the hips. This is going to tax your elbows a ton. And again, we're going to transition straight from this rower over to the toes to bar.
Yeah, so like Zach said, you want to find a manageable pace on the row to get right to work on the toes to bar. Now, 50 toes to bar is a lot of volume for a lot of folks. And so what you want to do is you want to break this, especially to sets that you know you can hit consistently. So short breaks, maybe a breath or two every single time you come down, whether that's 3, whether that's 5. And then a big thing that you really want to think about is that for a lot of folks, we're going to be going for the first ring muscle up. So maybe you're even doing singles on the toes to bar. If you do a single, you just hop right down. You're right below the bar. You hop right back up, and you can knock those out at a consistent pace, and it doesn't tax your grip as much as hanging on to even maybe 3 or 5 reps at a time. So you really want to make sure that that kip is nice and tight, but also that we are able to do sets or singles consistently, because the goal here is probably going to be for most folks getting that first ring muscle up or getting to it, so you don't want to tax your grip too much on the toes to bar.
And then we're going to lead into the wall balls. So with wall balls, my number one tip for you is to have a plan for breathing prior to going into your wall balls. So for most of us, especially after we hop off of the rower, off of the rig, we're going to be fatigued at this point. Oftentimes when we're tired, we tend to hold our breath. It's kind of counterintuitive, but we hold our breath, especially through the wall balls. That is something that we want to avoid. Have a plan for breathing. So what we recommend is breathe at the top. So we're going to squat and then exhale. Have a plan for that. If you notice that you've gone a few and you haven't breathed, take a second, take a deep breath, and make sure your next few reps you are breathing. You may want to break that up in a manageable set. So maybe you're doing 15, 15, 10. You may want to do 20, 20. But that's if you're really good at wall balls and if you're really good at the next portion, which Jesse is going to talk us through.
All right, everybody, so I'm going to talk about the clean. So first and foremost, we really want to think quick singles. All the elites did this when they tested this workout for us just a few minutes ago. They were going quick, fast singles. Second thing I really want you to think about is going with a power clean as opposed to a muscle clean, because we're going straight from the cleans into ring muscle ups where we're going to need our shoulders. We're coming off of the wall balls where we just did a very heavy press. Our front rack taxes our shoulders as well. So as opposed stepping up to the barbell and going into a muscle clean where I'm not re-dipping under the bar, we're gonna go power clean where we're landing in our power position and we're not having to pull as much with our shoulders. And then lastly, Miller's gonna talk about our muscle up portion.
Yeah, so again, the goal for this workout for a lot of folks would be to see how many muscle ups they can get. You saw a few of the athletes get into that second round on the rower, but for many of us, if you even get to the rower on the second round, it's only gonna be with a few seconds left. So your goal is to be trying to get as many of these ring muscle ups that you can, or getting your first. And so understand that 14 minutes is a really long time, right? So you don't have to blaze through these first portions of the workout. You might have 2-3 minutes by the time you get the rings. So on the rings, a couple of things. If you know that you are efficient at ring muscle ups, then what you wanna do is go for it. This might be near the end of your workout. Maybe you're chopping out 3 to 5 reps at a time. If you can finish that ring muscle up portion, it's gonna be a huge boost to your score. If you are working on rings or you're trying to get maybe your first, the biggest thing we tend to see is in that turnover, we have to keep the rings glued to the side. So if we are way out here, it's just harder to get into that dip. So glue it to the side and really commit to that turnover. We can't be behind the rings like this and hope that we get through. We have to keep pulling and then press down on those rings, glue them to your side, and commit to that follow through. The last thing about the kip on the rings is focus on your hips. Your hips are so much stronger than your toes. And so if you think of kipping through, as I'm coming through that big kip, I want to squeeze my glutes and pop up with my hips, not kick my legs higher. So these are gonna be some good tips, especially when you're under fatigue, the clock is ticking, and you're trying to wrap up that first or those few reps of a ring muscle up in the time given. Best of luck, 23.1, we're juiced, we can't wait to see you all crush it.